Transition Awareness Breathing. Feeling grounded for both children and parents is essential for healthy living and learning. Join Eartha Powell on this series for tips and tools for creating a harmonious environment for learning. Transition Awareness Breathing will help you and your child find an individualized path to tackle change, promote lifelong learning, and discover new approaches to calmness.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome to Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast. This is Eartha, and I want to share something with you today that it is very, very basic. I mean, it is so basic that you may not even think about it. I propose that sometimes when we are involved in everyday life, and part of those elements of everyday life that is so basic, we don't even realize or give an appreciation for that element of our everyday life unless something goes kilter. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to talk to you about today has a lot to do with what I did my master's project on when I got my master's degree. And, you know, it's always been part of the thread of my everyday life, but I really hadn't concentrated on it like I did when I was running my master's. But certain things have come up: winter, the change of season, COVID, and it really, these events in our everyday life has turned my attention to 1991 when I went, whew, I am finished with that master's project. Now I can get back to life. And I didn't realize how much of the work that I had performed in putting that master's paper and the project together. I didn't realize how much it had become a part of me, and how much my vision was in relation to what I had studied. So before I get started, I want to give you a clue. What we're going to talk about has a lot to do with our basic needs. Now, before we get started, I want to thank Web Talk Radio for allowing me to have a platform to bring Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast to you. And I want to thank my producers, Mary Lou and Sam, for making Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast flexible and available wherever you're at. Okay, so now let's get started. No more hesitation. No more putting you off. Let's just get started. All right. My master's degree is on human resource development, with the concentration on marketing and organizational development. That's the long story. But the short story was, it came in handy during my career as a leader in all different facets of my professional journey. And so I kind of think of it as a little bit selfish because, you know, I was able to use all the different theories and studies, and I just felt, this stuff works. And I helped many people that I worked with and that was working in my leadership. I helped them succeed, and that is just so awesome. But it's not enough, because as I work with transition awareness breathing, and my awareness of mindfulness has kicked in, I'm revisiting what I learned. And I found something, you guys. What I found was one of the theories, and I'm going to talk about one theory right now. One of the theories that I studied was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, you may have heard of that. It's very, very basic. If you've taken any psychology in college or in high school, you may have been introduced to this. And if you haven't heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're in for a treat. And I hope you enjoy learning about it. So my resource that I'm using this for, because this gets to the point, is coming from a web resource. It's called Very Well Mind. And it was by Kendra Cherry, March 19th, 2021. So I appreciate the recent update of this article. Now, Maslow hierarchy of needs. Higher means things that are coming, it's like stacked on top of each other, usually. And the picture in your mind, a pyramid. Okay, so you have a pointy top and a wide base. At the bottom of the base, now this pyramid is divided into 5 sections. And at the bottom of the base is physical needs. What does that mean? Well, what Maslow proposed was our basic needs is so important that it is important for our physical needs to be met before any of our other physical or psychological needs can be accomplished. And so the physical needs, such as food, water, sleep, warmth, those things are considered physical needs according to Maslow. And then the next level is called safety and security needs. Now, these needs have to do with feeling safe. Just imagine, if we're at work or we're at school, we want to feel safe. And if something is interrupting that environment, it's very difficult to learn. Or if we're at work and the environment is not safe, it's difficult to perform at your best because the environment is not safe. So your body is in a get ready to either flee, run away, or fight. And so the body is, it's trying to adjust. We've talked about change. Another part of security and safety needs includes physical security and health and wellness. If we are not feeling well, can you tell where I'm going with this? When we're taking care of ourselves and when we're healthy, we can learn better. We can do our jobs better. We can have relationships that are meaningful better because we're at an optimum, at our best. I don't want to get too much into that right yet, but let's continue on the next stage, and that's social needs. So in Maslow's view, in his theories, he says that it's very important for people to have friendships and relationships, families, social groups, connections, socially, spiritually, and all that is important. According to Maslow, this is the third level. We're proceeding up the pyramid. We're climbing up the pyramid. The first one is physical needs. The next one is safety. Now we are at the third level, and those are social needs. Okay. Now the next level, as we're climbing up this pyramid, is considered esteemed needs. And but before we get to that esteemed needs, all the other needs have to be met. So the esteem needs means that people have a need to be valued by others and feel that they are making a contribution to their environment, to their world. And then the top of the pyramid is the self-actualization, being aware and concerned with personal growth. You're less concerned with people's opinions, and you're interested in doing those fulfilling things in your life. And I remember when I was studying this, I thought, that's where I want to be. But the thing about this theory is we don't always go in sequential order according to Maslow, because life changes. And I would like to invite you to be open to this thought, that when we look at this pyramid from a mindfulness perspective, remember, when we're talking about mindfulness, we are talking about being at a state where we can bring calmness to ourselves, that we are aware of our surroundings, and we are at peace. Being at peace and being aware. So what would happen if we can practice mindfulness at each level? If we're using Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we are not reacting to our environment, and instead of reacting to our environment, we are able to be aware of our environment, and we're able to dissect, we could take apart exactly what may be triggering our anxiety or triggering our fear, or it may be triggering our perspective. And because we are practicing mindfulness, we understand the concept of how our perceptions guide our behavior, and we're open to that. And we're also open to not being judgmental. And so when we're open to being not judgmental, and we are able to do a body scan and realize that, okay, I'm at this point where I'm at work, or I'm at school, or I'm getting ready to take a test, and I feel my heart is pounding, or my hands are sweaty. Okay, and so instead of doing what may be instinctual, maybe, or maybe just kind of close out, that we can come to a place, bring ourselves back down to calmness, do our favorite breathing technique, whether it's just a mindful breathing in and blowing out, or relaxation breath, because we know the difference, that inhaled breath is going to be shorter than the exhaled breath, and we're going to bring ourselves back to calmness. And we can look at things from different perspectives, so we don't have to react to the environment. And so as a result, we put ourselves in a safe zone. See, we're not dependent on a particular environment, that we are inside. We're looking at ourselves from a mindfulness perspective for our safety, for our physical needs. For physical needs, we're going to appreciate the temperature. We're going to appreciate our nutrition. And we're going to choose the best nutrition that's going to energize and provide fuel for our bodies. As well as we understand the importance of true relaxing. And because, Maslow says we need sleep. okay, so I get 8 hours of sleep. I go to bed, I get up, and I still feel drained. I'm so tired. With mindfulness practice, if we incorporate that into the physical part of this theory, then we know that we can do a body scan, and from the top of the temples of our head to the tips of our toes, we go through a body scan and just release and blow away any pressure, anything that is bothering us. We can maybe do some stretching. And as we drift off, before we drift off to sleep, we can do an appreciation and be thankful that we do have a place to sleep and that the temperature is comfortable. And if it's not comfortable, we can adjust the temperature. We could do something about it, that we don't have to be passive. We can be involved in our life mindfully. And including that we're going to recognize that as far as the social media, as far as electronic material, that we're going to set boundaries for ourselves and turn it off, because it's the quality of the rest, it's the quality of the sleep that is so important, because now you're in a mindful state of mind that you can truly, truly rest. And things that, as we're reflecting at the end of the day, and as we're reflecting on our day, things that may have caused anger or anguish or sadness, we visit that, and using a positive mindset, we can say, okay, what did I learn from it? We don't have to dwell in it, but we can look at it from a new perspective and say, what did I learn from today? And then take a breath and blow it out and say, I'm going to do better tomorrow, because each day is a new day to try again. And I think from that mindful perspective, as we visit Maslow's 5 hierarchy of needs and kind of really examine this time has gone so fast, but if we really look at this from a mindfulness perspective, I think that some things may change as far as the amount of time we may spend at each level. I mean, it's going to be more positive. It will be more self-awareness. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe we should look at another theory. So join me next time as I pull out another theory on motivation and learning. I'll talk to you again next time.
Be sure and pick up a copy of Eartha's new book, Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's not just an ordinary coloring book. It features 23 illustrations to stimulate thought, relaxation, and creativity for anyone between the ages of 4 and 94. Increase your positive self-talk energy. Unlock new creative paths. Transform your time once or twice a week to create beautiful art while strengthening confidence, building positive self-talk, and sensitize self-awareness. Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's available now at Amazon.com.